around, I get around, yeah, get around, round, round, I get
Hi, this is Marietta Allen welcoming you to our weekend magazine, brought to you by Hudson Heritage Federal Credit Union. We are going to be talking about things to do and see within probably about a 3-hour radius of our location here in the Mid-Hudson. Today we're going to be doing an in-depth on West Point. We'll be talking with the West Point Museum. We'll be talking with West Point Tours, and we'll also be touching base with Eisenhower Hall. And I hope at the end of the show you're going to have a really good idea of things to do over at the West Point location. It's a fabulous destination. It's good for people of all ages. It's very educational, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, so we'll be back in a few minutes, and we'll introduce our first guest. Thank you.
I'm proud of my heritage.
I'm proud of my heritage.
Hudson Heritage Federal Credit Union. You plan well, you work hard, and dream big. That's why you need to manage your finances right, too. With Hudson Heritage Federal Credit Union, you can count on a team to work as hard as you do to help you meet your financial goals and make your dreams come true with their money-saving solutions and commitment to personalized banking. At Hudson Heritage, they believe in building relationships and getting to know you. So whether you're buying a new home, sending a child to college, or planning for your retirement, you can count on your heritage to make things happen. If you live, work, worship, volunteer, or attend school in Orange, Ulster, or Dutchess County, you and your family can join Hudson Heritage. Stop by any one of their convenient locations or visit their website at myhudsonheritage.com for further details. Hudson Heritage Federal Credit Union. Personalized banking. It's what we do. Hudson Heritage Federal Credit Union, an equal housing lender. Hudson Heritage is federally insured by the NCUA.
Hudson Heritage, make it feel like a friend. Hudson Heritage, that's what we do. Hudson Heritage.
This is Marietta Allen. Welcome back to Weekend Magazine. We are here with the curator of arms and armor of the West Point Museum. His name is Les Jensen. Les, you there?
Yes, I am.
Hello, Les.
How are you?
Very good, thank you. Very good. You've got a phenomenal museum over there, and we want everybody to come and see you. So you'll fill me in a little bit about the place, and we'll share it with everybody.
The West Point Museum is actually the oldest museum in the federal government. We have been here in some form since about the 1830s, and some of the collection items. Some of the cannon, for example, that are up in display in the museum and up on Trophy Point, have been here since the American Revolution. A lot of the American artillery was brought here after the Revolution. It was engraved to indicate where the items were captured. A lot of it went elsewhere, but we have some pieces that have apparently never left. So they are sort of the basis and the beginning of the collection. We don't actually have an establishment date for the museum. As a museum function, it kind of grew. But by 1843, there was a rammer staff from Dade's Massacre in Florida during the Second Seminole War. The young officer who had it was asked to donate it to the Artillery Museum at the Military Academy.
Yeah.
So we have the rammer staff, and we have the letter
Yeah.
from 1843 saying that we have a museum. So,
isn't that something?
So we know that it goes back at least that far.
Yeah.
It opened to the public in 1854, and we've been a public museum ever since. And so we have been here a while. We've been in about 4 locations over the years. Our present location, which is on what we call South Post or Pershing Center, we came here in 1989.
Okay.
So,
and that is outside of the gates of West Point,
well,
right? Just
yes,
outside?
It is kind of just outside Thayer Gate, and the West Point Visitor Center is also located in the same area. So
that's a good place to start when people
good place
come.
to start. Actually, it's the place you have to start.
Yeah. Well, you've got it's somebody that's a history buff. I mean, that's one thing, but kids, everybody can really appreciate the country much more when they see the kinds of things that you have there. It's a lesson in its own. Yeah.
Yes. And our exhibits are basically set up to sort of mirror and support the cadet curriculum primarily through the history department.
Okay.
And what that basically does is allows us to not only deal with American military history, but world military history as well. So that's why we say we're the largest diversified collection of military objects in the Western Hemisphere.
Wow.
We have a history of warfare gallery that goes back to the Egyptians.
Wow.
We have, of course, West Point Gallery, which deals with not only the military academy, but West Point itself, which isn't always the same.
Yeah.
West Point was occupied by the Army in the beginning of the Revolution and was an important part of where the Continental Army stayed and trained during a lot of the Revolution. And then the Academy was established in 1802. So there were things going on here before then. And then we have two galleries on the U.S. Army's history, one on the Army on American wars, the other one on the U.S. Army essentially in peace or in other than war operations. We have a large weapons gallery downstairs which deals with artillery and tanks and that sort of thing.
Wow, do you have a tank there? Do you have a tank right?
We do. We have a World War I Renault tank, which actually, when it came into the gallery, was running. And we periodically turn the engine to be sure it'll do it again if we have to. And we also have a small weapons gallery, which is handheld firearms and actually beginning with the rock and the spear.
Really?
So we cover a lot of ground, and it's a fairly comprehensive collection. And of course, like every museum, we probably have a lot more in storage than we have out, but that gives us a lot of opportunity to do other things.
So you rotate things. I remember coming years ago, and you actually had one of the A-bombs, those little...
We still do.
You do?
We still do. That's one of the very few things that we don't own. It's on loan from Sandia, New Mexico. And but it is an original casing of the same kind that was dropped on Japan.
Wow! Now, do you have any changing exhibits, or?
We do. We have a small gallery right off the foyer, which we periodically rotate exhibits in. We have a Civil War exhibit in there right now. Okay. Which includes some fairly iconic pieces that are in the collection, including the first Medal of Honor ever awarded.
Wow.
Awarded to Jacob Parrott, who was one of the Andrews Raiders who captured the locomotive down in Georgia and ran it back up the tracks, destroying various Confederate things along the way.
Okay.
And he happened to be the first one in line when the medals were given out, the first 8. So that's really the first one.
So that's Civil War. That would be a good exhibit to see and and visit. When is that finishing up?
That one will finish up probably in early May, just before graduation, and we will rotate and actually are going to be doing another Civil War exhibit in there.
Okay.
A small one, probably focusing on a number of other objects in the collection that are related to specific individuals. We're still working on that one. We're also working on a larger exhibit to go into our Lucas Center gallery, focusing on the Siege of Charleston, which was the longest siege of the Civil War, 567 days of continuous military action, and there was preparatory stuff before that. And kind of the interesting question for us, and hopefully we can make it interesting for the public, was we ended up with a lot of material, relatively speaking, from the Siege of Charleston versus other Civil War actions. We don't have a whole lot from Gettysburg. We don't have a whole lot from Antietam, but we've got a fair amount from Charleston. And why was that? What was it that they thought was interesting and important about that? And as it turns out, that was it was not only a long siege. There was a lot of innovation in terms of things they were trying to do. Everything from, and on both sides, everything from rifled artillery, specific kinds of projectiles intended to be used against ironclads, rapid-fire guns, submarines, torpedo boats, torpedoes, which were actually underwater mines at that point, the use of ironclad monitors and other ironclad ships. Plus, it was a standard siege operation, and it took a long time, and there was a lot of things going on, so it's kind of interesting to try and pull that all together and try and show how it's going. So we're working on that.
That sounds wonderful. Now, what are you open certain days of the week, and what kind of hours are you doing?
We're actually open 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday.
Okay.
10:30 in the morning till 4:15 in the afternoon.
Okay.
And we're only closed 3 days during the year. We're closed on Thanksgiving Day.
Right.
Christmas Day, and New Year's Day.
Okay. Is there an admission fee?
No, there is not. We are free.
Okay, free. Bring the kids, right?
Free, bring the kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, maybe do you have a website if somebody needs more information? And
we do, and I can't give you the website at the moment because I just took it off. You can search West Point Museum; it'll come up.
Okay, West Point Museum, and that's probably a link off the usma.edu website, I would think.
Right.
Okay. Well, listen. Thank you so much, Les. We appreciate you giving us all this great information, and I'm hoping everybody goes and sees your museum. It sounds like it's a wonderful place.